Hey guys, and welcome to vlog 5, which means that I've officially been in Spain for an entire month, and I kind of can't believe it. A quick update, I mentioned something about this in the previous video, but after a long and strenuous battle with the new head of the Spanish department, I ended up convincing Georgetown that the literature class I'm taking here should count toward my credit, mostly because the former dean in the spring signed off on it and told me it would count, so I guess it's kind of hard to go against a signed contract. So one of the things that's been keeping me busy here so far, because I really do feel busy even though I don't have that much homework yet, is that I've been traveling, or just starting to travel on the weekends. And this past weekend I went to Santiago de Compostela, which is in the north of Spain. It's in the Galicia region. And it was sort of a spontaneous trip that my friend Miranda and I decided to do kind of last minute because 3 other girls, Katie, Caroline, and Drew, had already planned it, and so we decided to kind of like hop on board at the end. And they had already planned the train tickets, they had already gotten the hostel, and they basically knew all the things and activities they wanted to do. And Miranda and I ended up being the beneficiaries of their planning, and we didn't have to like spend time researching or anything like that, which in some ways was a blessing, and in some ways was, I don't want to say curse, but I'll say a non-blessing, and I'll explain why. One of the first panicked moments in which we sort of realized it was a non-blessing, and this was our own fault. It was just, we had been lazy because they had done all the planning and we were happy about that. So we were on a train, and we were in a different car than they were because we bought them so much later, we bought the tickets so much later. And suddenly we got a text from Drew saying to get off the train how to transfer. And now, at this point, Miranda and I have literally no idea what Drew is talking about. We are sprawled out on the train, half of our stuff in the backseat pocket, under the chair, in the overhead compartments. We frantically grab everything, we leap off the train, and we meet up with Drew. And we realize she had bought tickets all the way to Santiago, as makes sense given we are going to Santiago, and Miranda and I had only bought tickets to Ourense because we saw the first half of Drew's ticket and just like bought that same train, but didn't realize that she had bought then the rest of the journey. And yes, that does mean that we ignorantly assumed Ourense was like a fancy name for Santiago or the Santiago station. But yeah, that was a little bit awkward, and we didn't know what to do, so we went up to an official that was on the platform and sort of clumsily explained in Spanish that we didn't have tickets for the rest of our journey. And he responded in rapid fire Castellano. We didn't know exactly what he said, and we just assumed he like gave us his blessing to keep going. So Miranda and I just got on the train and kept going, and the traveling gods must have been on our side because they did not check the tickets for that leg of the journey, and we made it to Santiago no problem. The rest of the night ended up going really smoothly, and I really loved Santiago. It's a lot smaller than Madrid. It was a lot cooler than Madrid. For the first time, I think, since I've been here, I could like smell nature. I mean, except for the bull farm, like that's a different kind of nature, but this was like trees and shrubbery and grass, and there were breezes, and it was luxurious. And we were walking down like hilly cobblestone streets, and it was very, very nice. I had never been there before, so I definitely hope to go back because I was not there for long enough. And also the hostel where we stayed was actually, it was sort of set up on a hill, and it used to be a monastery. It's this massive palatial building, completely made of stone, and long hallways, small rooms, but you can definitely picture the monks that they used to stay there. That's like all I could think about the whole time I was living there. So the next day, we meet for breakfast downstairs at around 9 a.m. because they actually kick you out to clean the rooms, so you have to be out by 9:30. So we meet for breakfast, and at the table, Drew and Caroline mentioned this walk that we can take. It's supposed to be beautiful, and it seems like a good way to get to know the area. And Miranda and I are thinking, well, that sounds great because we'd love to see more of Santiago. The weather is perfect today, and also anything active is always a plus because of the sheer amount of bread we've been eating. And so as we start the walk, Drew and Caroline and Katie are kind of explaining to Miranda and me that this walk is actually an extra part of a longer walk called the Camino de Santiago. And this walk is a pilgrimage that people do. I think it's in relation to St. James. I need to check my facts. I am horrible for not knowing this given I was just there. But they were explaining kind of the purpose of it and how people start in France, and it's a 500-mile religious pilgrimage that ends in Santiago, and then you can do the extra part we're doing now. And also just all the pilgrims we kept passing were so nice, and they kept saying buen camino, so wishing us well as we were on our journey. So I was still sort of on this like travel high as we were going. So about an hour in, we are walking in and out of woods, on gravel paths, on back roads, past quaint little country homes, large plots of land, cows, horses, like a lot of livestock. And I'm realizing we're not getting any closer to Santiago, and at this point I really have to pee, which is fine. In class we are not allowed to leave to go to the bathroom because it's really disrespectful, and class is an hour and a half long, so I'm thinking, alright, if we're 2/3 in and not as close to being done as I thought, that's fine. Like, I can make it. I've been training for this day. But I figure I'll just ask Drew to make sure. And so I ask her, I turn to her and say, oh, how long exactly do you say this walk was gonna be? And she was like, oh, 21 kilometers. 21 kilometers? For those of you who don't know the metric system, that is 13 miles. Like, 13 hiking miles, not 13 flat road miles, not 13 brisk miles, like slow, hilly miles. We are in the throes of a 13-mile hike. I'm in jeans, I'm in a nice tank top, and a J. Crew handbag. We are no longer on a cute little stroll, a nice little mosey around a Galician city. No, we are on a frickin' pilgrimage, and I had no idea until I was an hour in. So suddenly that's when everything starts to make more sense, because I'm realizing, well, all the pilgrims we've been passing have been like carrying their life on their backs in their backpack and wearing total camping gear and hiking boots, and everyone we've met at this point, we talked to a British one, for example, who've done, you know, every other leg of the Camino. Like, these people are hardcore, and now I'm realizing, okay, so this is legit, and this isn't something you do on a whim without preparation, such as I am now doing. Eventually, my heart, like, dislodges from my throat long enough for us to focus on finding a bathroom, and everything is fine, and I make peace with the fact that I have 4 hours left of this walk. And I mean, like I said, we've been eating a lot of bread, so it's fine, but holy shit, did I not know I was on a pilgrimage. So the rest of the stroll, which I did complete, by the way, we all did, I was sort of like switching between thinking, oh my gosh, wow, pilgrims are the nicest people I've ever met, and like, oh wow, denim has a lot less ventilation than I would have expected, or oh my gosh, I forgot how much I loved hiking, and then who knew that so many different bones in my legs and feet could hurt all at the same time. So even though my left hamstring has shrunk to about half its original size, I would say that overall it was honestly a positive experience. There were a lot of serendipitous things that happened. I really liked the people we met. There was one family that left peaches out for us, or not for us specifically, but for all the people walking by. And I would even consider doing like the entire Camino should I ever have like a month and a half off to do nothing. And nothing has ever tasted quite as good as the octopus and all the other food that we had right as we finished, because after 5 hours of walking, we were famished. However, I cannot stress enough how thoroughly unprepared I was for this hike, and I think that if there's a lesson I'm taking away, it would be to always ask questions. Anyway, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back in my own bed, and hopefully I'll be limp-free by vlog 6. Until next time, you guys.